Hi, welcome. It's the end of the first week of the legislative session. It's just a privilege to be able to record this in a little break. I've stepped out of the Education Committee after just presenting 4 bills so that I can talk to you about everything that's gone on this week. It has been a very busy week for me. I've been involved in a lot of negotiations, and there's been a lot going on here at the Capitol. I want to update you on some of those things, just kind of give you an overall picture about what to expect, what's gone on this week, and what's coming up briefly next week that I want your feedback on. So leading up to the legislative session, there was some media reports about a budget shortfall that we had in Utah. But Utah's budgeting process and the structures that we have in place for it are so unique that a budget shortfall, if I can use those air quotes, doesn't really impact the state budget at all. Last year there was a big budget surplus, but we weren't sure really we were going to collect all of that money. And so we took about about $300 million and put it towards some really nice to have type projects, but projects that we knew we could delay if the money didn't come. And in fact, we called $150 million of that to be kind of just, if the money shows up, we can do these projects. And the money didn't show up. And so all we did was not do the projects. And that's kind of the way that Utah designs its budget. Utah is the only state in the country that budgets an ongoing revenue budget, different from a one-time revenue budget. And we count higher than expected revenue earnings as one-time money, so that if it doesn't come or doesn't come the next year, it's okay. It just might mean we don't build a highway interchange quite as quickly as we used to. But that helps keep Utah's financial house in order. Our budget is balanced. Our rainy day funds are robust. They're as high as they can legally be. The Utah's debt is as low as it's been in multiple generations. So I really worked hard to safeguard your money as taxpayers. And I think we're seeing that play out with the kind of financial shape that Utah and our state budget is in. I'm going to just check my notes here because there's been so much going on and I can't keep it all in my head. I wanted to thank you so much for the replies. We have already gotten more than 300 surveys returned, both online and in the mail, and I thank you for that. If you want to fill out the survey, the link to do so is just at the bottom of the screen here. I'd love to have your feedback. These surveys that we send out in the mail, that we collect online, that costs a little bit of money, but again, I just want you to know, as an advocate for being a safeguard guardian of taxpayer money, we don't use taxpayer money for those things. Those are all paid for out of my campaign funds. And so I also want to send a thank you to those of you who've made donations to my campaign to help me facilitate that sort of dialogue that we can have ongoing. It's really important to me to hear from you as my constituents. And that's why we spend this $5,000 to $10,000 a year that it takes to conduct these surveys and hold the town hall meetings that we do. And again, we not use any taxpayer dollars to do them, but it's something that I just have an internal commitment to do because it's so important for me to stay in regular touch with you. I want to talk briefly about one of the bills I just presented in the Education Committee. It was a resolution, kind of a sense of the legislature in support of school support staff. Last year, the legislature provided the largest education funding increase in our history, and that included a $4,200 raise for every school teacher in the state. But of course, we know that teachers aren't the only professionals in schools. They are supported by just a cadre of janitors and custodians, bus drivers, teachers' aides, lunch personnel, school secretaries, who all keep the schools running smoothly. Teachers could not be successful without them. Our students could not be successful without them. We ran just a little clause in the education funding bill last year directing school districts to make sure that they're giving raises to this support staff. And this year I ran that resolution to be able to recognize school support staff. That'll be on the Senate floor next week. I would encourage you to watch that presentation in committee. We just had so many people come up and express their gratitude for what school support staff means for schools and for teachers and for children that attend school. It was really a great presentation. It makes me feel very good about having run that resolution, and I hope that you appreciate it as well. I also ran another really fun resolution yesterday about baseball. I love baseball. I think if you've followed me at all, you know that I'm a huge baseball fan. When I was a school teacher, I would spend my summers driving around the country to see Major League Baseball games at ballparks. I think you guys are probably aware that there's a coalition of people in Utah that are working to bring Major League Baseball to Utah. And so I just ran a resolution yesterday to state the legislators' support of that effort. We want Utah is a major league place. The Wasatch Front is made up, it's a major league city. And this just kind of highlighted all the great ways that Utah would be the right home for an expansion Major League Baseball franchise. I'm really excited to have that happen, and I think Utah has a really great chance to be awarded the next Major League Baseball franchise. Not all of you may be as excited about that as I am, but just as a lifelong baseball fan, it's just something that I'm just so excited about. And I think that it really helps to validate everything that Utah has done to become the nation's #1 economy, to become the fastest growing state, to become the #1 most charitable state, the state that's #1 for volunteerism. And I'm recording this the day after the governor's State of the State address. If you watched any of that, he was also singing Utah's praises. Utah is weird in some really wonderful ways, and that's part of the reason why we're the leading contender for a Major League Baseball expansion franchise. And finally, I just want to talk to you about a couple of big bills that you may have seen in the media. They're certainly generating a lot of interest up here, a lot of people coming up to tell us what they think. And they're House bills, so they just received them in the Senate today. And so they'll be having committee hearings next week and then a vote on the Senate floor next week. And I would like to have your input on them. So I'd like to have your input, if I can, on House Bill 257. That's like a privacy bill. It has to do with the level of privacy you can expect when you're in various states of undress in a restroom or a locker room and in a government-owned building. So take a look at that bill, read it, and let me know your thoughts. And there's also a bill called Equal Opportunity Initiatives. It's House Bill 261, and it talks about how we can best foster equal opportunity and inclusion inside public schools and inside higher education and in state and city government as a whole. So I'd love your input on those. There will be links to those in the video and just below if you're watching this on YouTube. So thank you so much. Again, I appreciate your surveys. Please call or text or email. My phone numbers and the email address are at the bottom of the screen. Thank you so much. I will talk to you guys next week.